Hey everyone, welcome back to Psychonauts. We are in the world of Edgar's Mind. There's a bull rampaging through the streets. Let's decorate, shall we? I'm not really going to use the rose for anything, but it's always good to have an extra. And we've already seen what happens when we hang up the guitar painting. So let's see what's at the top of it. I love the noises he makes when he's climbing up the guitar. Beautiful attention to detail. And this room's got a bunch of really hard to spot figments. I mean, would you think that those were collectibles and not just decorations? The figments in this world fit in so well with the aesthetic, you might not even notice they're there. Anyway, we can proceed from that balcony, but first, let's go back a little bit and collect some figments we had to pass up. And particularly this ledge down here. Kinda love the bird figments hanging on that wire. And there's a fire escape, which, if I manage to reach it without falling down, will work as a sort of shortcut. And of course it dumps me way back here at the Queen of Clubs portrait. So let's see if I can get through at street level without having to climb up and swing all the way there. Almost made it. I'm gonna wait for my invisibility to recharge and have another go. And it takes me so long to activate levitation that I can't make it all the way there. I guess I might be able to make it if I just run, but there's a faster way. And with every queen we deliver, the tower gets higher, but of course the top part of it is unstable until Edgar's got the queen to finish the job.
Please, boy, I must have those queens.
I was kinda hoping he'd have a unique reaction to the rose, but I guess not. Where the heck is the Queen of Hearts portrait? So the club's over there. There's hearts. So we can use these portraits as sort of shortcuts. We just have to go back through the hub world again to get to them. And now that I've got that rose, there is one other thing that I want to try. And the sound gets messed up.
I am a mammal, so you're close, but perhaps you should save that for someone of your own species.
What? I have no idea what just happened. I'm going to try to forget about it and just move on with the level. You can actually jump over to the fire escape from here, and that's a much simpler way to get to it. So now, I don't have to worry about the guitar anymore, because I can just take this ladder to get back up to the ledge. Narrowly avoiding a brush with El Odio on the way. Alright, so moving on. I think I want to bounce off this awning here, which has a kind of interesting reaction with the levitation ball, which is actually kind of neat. Back in high school I did a science project about that, seeing how well elasticity worked between different types of surfaces, and it turned out that a bouncy object bouncing on a bouncy surface didn't bounce all that well. So as you can see, there's nowhere to hide on the next stretch, but there is a safe place to go. And the sewers don't really look much like a sewer, do they? I'll let you figure it out while I'm fighting off all these sensors. It's sort of step-like formations along the sides, figments of people holding exclamation marks, basketball hoops. The sewers are, of course, where all the human waste and stuff that nobody likes to think about or touch goes. And down here?
I'm starting to feel like I'm back in high school, which is weird because I'm only 10.
We've got a shower room with a bunch of people wearing towels. And there's a vault that will probably be very illuminating, and as such I'm going to leave it alone for now and come back for it later. Just venture off into the farthest depths of the sewer for a figment. And here is our next destination. We climb up the ladder and sneak past El Odio for the next stretch. It's kind of hard to follow where we are, but this is the end of an alley just a little bit further down the street. Bunches of figments around, and the next dog artist. Grab this figment here and then go talk to him.
Edgar Tegley sent me. You know, the famous painter. How about a discount?
Famous painter? Edgar? Yeah, right.
You don't give discounts, or you don't think he's famous?
Look, I'm sorry, but eating lunch every day in the art teacher's room does not make you a famous painter. Anyway, you only did that to hide out from the school wrestling team.
Hey, there's no shame in hiding from wrestlers. They're trouble, especially the wild animal type.
Oh, what do you mean, wild animals? Like dogs, huh? Oh, you got a problem with me now?
No, I just meant wrestlers can be tough. I didn't mean you.
Oh, you don't think I'm tough now? Why? 'Cause I'm a Dalmatian? Hey, we can't all be St. Bernards and Bulldogs, you know.
Has Edgar always had a problem with wrestlers?
No way. In fact, he used to be the captain of his high school wrestling team. He took them all the way to the state semifinals one year, and then he choked. Cost the team the entire match.
Why did he choke? Did they get him in one of those pile driver things?
No. Edgar's girlfriend, Lana Panzoni, dumped him after the first period for Dean LeGrant, the head of her cheerleading squad. Tegley was worthless after that. The other team just tossed him around the rest of the day like a half sack of pork rinds. Oh, man. His squad hated him after that. The whole school did.
How sad. Especially since it all happened to him again with Dingo and Lampita.
Oh, right. Yeah, they exist. Not made up at all, those two. Sheesh. Hey, I got some original Picassos over here if you're interested, by the way.
See ya.
Yes, run. Run from the horror.
So it seems like the story we heard earlier was just Edgar inflating something that had happened to him in high school into something bigger than it was. And we learned this from the Dalmatian, who, when he stopped staring at this portrait of Rasputin he's painting, sees us as a judge. This is the part of Edgar's psyche that fears being judged, I think.
Oh, I deserve much worse than that for painting this stuff.
His inferiority complex. You know, like over being dumped.
Okay, what I was going for here was a creeping vine. The kind that grows up walls. But it just ended up looking like a truck driver's hairy back. But without the charisma. Whoa! I forgot how crummy this one was. Blech. Ooh, so bad. This stuff reeks. I can't believe I painted this. This one is so bad, somebody should take a rolled up newspaper and smack it. Oh! Somebody light a match. This one really stinks. Blech. This stuff well, maybe you can write it off on your taxes as a loss. A catastrophic loss, even.
I don't know, I think climbable vines would be useful.
You do realize I'm a boy dog, right? I'm just asking.
He's got one more picture to buy.
Really, I should just take this one out back and bury it. Terrible. Ugh. Ugh. Whoa. I enjoy that.
So we got vines to climb, and we've got a window that'll let us go
Don't
through a
tell
wall
anyone who
and
painted these, okay?
go to whatever's on the other side. But first, let's get to that vault that I didn't hit before. And get hit myself in the process, of course. The sensors see me as a germ, which I guess makes sense. They're sort of an immune system for the mind. And the sound is still messed up. That's actually in the game. That's not an editing problem. Yeah, it's really difficult to deal with somebody that once loved you and doesn't anymore. Unfortunately, it's a part of life that we all just have to learn to get over. All of us need to develop our own strategy for coping with that kind of thing, and Edgar didn't find a very good one. Meanwhile, we've got the same trash can and button puzzle that we've had so many times before. And it actually works this time. And this leads to a part of the level that I don't think is accessible any other way. So if you don't figure out the telekinesis thing, you can skip the first two areas and you're not missing too much, but
Can't get a good grip.
there's a lot here. Still keep trying to pick up those big sensors in the hope that there's something I can do with them, but I don't think there is. And we got a picture hook down here, and oh, interesting poster, Lampita Passionato. We already know about her story. And this is where we put the vines, but if we stick the window here first, there's a figment behind it, with a picture of someone. I'm thinking that may be Edgar's father, and we'll see why I think that later on, but you can put the window in two different places, two different hooks that aren't the one where it's actually supposed to go to let you advance, and you'll get two figments that I think are intended to be very well hidden for story reasons. Meanwhile, we can just climb up to this optional area here from the vines. And we find a lovely garden with a vault. To me, that's the most heartbreaking thing about the whole story, is how much they were in love.
Hey, I just think it's great that you took that ass-kicking I handed to you and turned that defeat into something positive. Like gardening.
Yeah, the defeated wrestlers end up here, and we can't do anything really interesting to
I
them.
just think it's great that you took that ass-kicking I handed to you and turned that defeat into something positive. Like gardening.
There's one more Figment off the edge here. And it's only now that I realize I went the wrong way. Because now I'm on the other side of this one-way door again. And having failed to open up most of the shortcuts along the way, now I've got to go all the way back. But first I do want to take down the guitar and put the window up here. I love the fully upgraded Chain Blast. And we see a figment of a crying baby. Very unlike anything else that we see in this level, I think. Does it mean anything that the figments of that picture of a man and the crying baby were behind walls that are almost inaccessible? And why did Elodeo hit me from the top of the ladder and take me all the way back to the very beginning? Really frustrating. Anyway, I'll be back where I was in a second. If I can actually avoid Elodeo for once. And moving on just a bit further. Pop into the sewer and head back to the secret alley. Because here, once I've taken out all the enemies, we can get to the other side of that one-way door. I can't throw him or anything. All I can do is kind of hold him in place for a second while I'm stuck myself. Big pile of wood blocking a door. We know how to deal with this. And we finally get to the duffel bag. And the door opens, so now I never have to make that particular journey again. So now that it's pretty much no longer relevant, let's head back through the sewer one more time and return to where the Dalmatian was so we can actually make some progress. I don't think pyrokinesis is very effective on those little bombs. They move pretty quickly and they still explode. On the other hand, it's great on the mega sensors. It's just not very useful if there's furniture around. Oh, that's pretty cool. One of them set the other on fire. So they should be pretty weak, and just a couple of shots will take them out. There are a lot of these guys down in the sewer. I guess the good news is, even if they do run into me, the water seems to put out the fire on Raz, just not on the sensors. Alright, that's all. They're respawning already. Not dealing with you. You can't climb ladders. The nice thing is, this guy is close enough to those bombs that when they explode, they take out all the other enemies around them. So let's head back to the street and do something I should have done a long time ago. We can get the Queen of Diamonds portrait and make a shortcut that'll bring us right back here.
Introducing, back from a crushing victory at someone might lose a tooth in Duluth, Eagle!
Caw-caw!
That's it? Caw-caw.
Ow! Caw-caw!
Alright, the same couple of things we do for every wrestler. See what we look like to him. A cowering worm, of course. And Eagle doesn't talk very much, but he's going to use his special ability pretty quickly, I think. It is his signature. He flies way up above the ring, and then he lands right on us. I think levitation is fast enough to get away from him, but I want to get caught, because there's something I forgot to do in the past couple of fights. I'll go back and do it in a second pass through the game, but something happens if you don't manage to escape their special moves.
That challenger needs to roll away from those aerial attacks.
Yet the game gives you a hint for how you might be able to avoid their special attacks. Of course, the most obvious way is simply to use the shield. And in Eagle's case, that actually does more than just avoid his attacks. Listen carefully. Yeah, he kind of cracks his spine. It gives you the chance to get in a punch or two. Not really a fight ender by any means. But it's such a satisfying crunch. And I think the punches are stronger than levitation as it is, so... We'll never have to worry about dodging El Odio in the sewers again to get back to this point. That makes me so happy.
I hope these things are worth it, Edgar.
Perfect. One step closer to her. Please, boy. I must have those queens.
There's only one queen left. And that one's going to be pretty much at the very end of the street. Meanwhile, we can attempt to continue up the street, but there is nowhere to hide.
Watch it.
And El Odio brought us back quite a distance. Kind of unfair, I think. But we may be able to dart past him by not going through the sewer, but just hiding in it for a couple seconds here. And then climbing out once he passes and jumping right back in. So let's skip levitation and just run for it. I think that's one of those few cases where levitation is more trouble than it's worth. And we'll go ahead and fight the same sensors again. It would be nice if the enemies were a little more dynamic, I think, but... oh well, we've seen all the different types of sensors there are. They just look a little different in every world. And this is a dead-end alley with just a couple of figments and the teleport worm. So, from here we need to take to the rooftops. Or at least the ledges that we've been using to get above El Odio down the street. I almost forgot about the sensors that shoot at you. I guess there is some variety. And first thing I want to do is head back towards the street along the rooftops here, because there's another valuable shortcut on this fire escape. So we can just climb up to here from street level from now on. And the ledges allow us to proceed exactly this far. Because now our way is blocked above, and the only tunnel there is the one that El Odio runs through. I'm pretty sure it's absolutely impossible to proceed from this point. So we've got one trick left in our arsenal. along the upper level of that dead-end alley is one final picture hook. And I think the last of the baggage tags and some sensors coming from behind. So having dealt with them, the only thing that's worth hanging on this hook is the window. And for once, rather than just a figment, it actually forms a shortcut leading ahead. And some very nice stuff. We get another cobweb.
Got it.
We get a mental projection layer. And there's the final artist dog, hiding in an alley along with the Queen of Spades. But I'm gonna leave the Queen of Spades just for the moment. Huh. Looks like somebody forgot to fill in an ad. Guess one of the sponsors must not have been very happy with the game.
You look pretty jumpy. What's the problem?
I'm supposed to paint an ad for the big fight between Dingo the Matador and the town bull. Only the bull's on a rampage right through where the painting needs to go.
Dingo the Matador! I need to talk to him!
His apartment's right upstairs. While you're there, maybe you can convince him to take care of the bull.
You look pretty jumpy.
I'm supposed to paint an ad for the big fight.
Well, alright, let's mess with this guy a bit before we move on.
Oof!
Snap out of it!
That doesn't help.
He doesn't seem to react to much of anything, really. And I gotta show him the rose.
Oh, if you really love me, you'd give me some raw ham.
Alright, let's move on. I'll go back and use clairvoyance on him later. I kinda forgot to do that. A lot more figments, yet another cobweb. We're getting a ton of them in this level. It must be something Edgar really wants to forget. Oh, there's the last baggage tag. Completely forgot about the suitcase. And more figments kind of around the walls, which give us, finally, the upgrade to the shield that I wanted all this time. Because that makes it effective to use in the wrestling matches, because when the wrestlers attack you, they'll take damage. And I'll skip that cobweb for the moment and come back later. For now, I want to talk to the Matador. After collecting all the figments he's guarding, of course. Let's see if we can get him to take care of our bull problem.
Ah, you must be the towel boy. You want an autograph? I don't just hand those out. And that's a good lesson for you. Anticipate disappointment. Take me. I'm the greatest bullfighter who's ever lived, yet my upcoming match against the town bull has received virtually no marketing support. A towering advertisement was supposed to have been painted just outside my window, but as you can see, the job hasn't even been started.
I think that bull is trampling anyone who tries to paint on the wall. Maybe you could stop it.
So instead of challenging the bull before a stadium packed with screaming women, you want me to fight it on the street in front of one dog and one child wearing a crude towel boy disguise? That's a terrible idea. Here's a better one. You go get that billboard painted and I'll reward you handsomely. Which is how I do everything. As an advance, I'll give you one of my secret weapons. Use it if anyone gets stubborn.
And we've got our final psychic power, the confusion grenades. This is why I wanted to do Edgar's mind first. Now we can use the confusion power that Coach Oleander's Blueprint Brain Tank used against anyone we want. Like this annoying Matador.
The mighty Elodio! I have all the power of the bull!
You should really go out there and stop that bull.
Elodio and I will fight someday, in the ring, and he will die. But not until we have a good media buzz first, so get out there and make that lazy dog paint my billboard.
So, we need to deal with Elodio. We need to paint that ad. We need to be a picador, apparently. And we still need to get that Queen of Spades for Edgar and solve all his mental problems. So we'll do all of that in the next video. Plus, we'll get to play around with our new confusion power. So see you then.